terms of building a better strategy, we need intelligence. Do we know what we're doing? Do we understand us as well as the competition? So the standard components of doing analysis of the situation, knowing the collaborators, what we can do as a company, the competition, as well as the five forces and other issues, they're still relevant. And you still use the same analysis you've always done. But this is about figuring out business cases based on market intelligence and how digital is going to be integrated. And so what that digital value does, it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to create internal value in my company, like I can save money doing things that I can potentially pass on to the customer, or I'm going to create benefits that can go directly to the customer, or a combination of both. And so this is where, when we talk about looking at what your core is, it's about your value proposition. Here's the difference that you see in different industries, between the current and potential digital intensity. And so some are actually doing pretty well, like automotive, and some have quite a gap to go. In terms of the context of digital, it's about global, cultural, societal, and technology, and how it's going to change. So the current model, the classic one, about defining goals and developing strategy and all. In the digital model, your goals are more diffuse. The strategy is more tech and social dependent. The reason why your goals are more diffused is because you have more stakeholders involved. People are more independent in decision making, and that's that you have to be top down and bottoms up, and you deliver value to the stakeholders. And so what it does is it basically implies that you need a knowledge-driven organization in order to pull this up. In terms of developing the processes that you're going to use, you're going beyond standard product development, and you also go beyond the domain of simple technology change. This is not just about IT. This is also about your business. And your standard business is going to be taking on new challenges, things like system integration and software development. Like for a car, they've never done anything like that. And so that's why we need a better strategy, not a standard strategy. And the way to look at it is this quadrant actually breaks up the four kinds of value that people captured. Are you doing something transformational, or are you doing something traditional? And so in terms of just having silos, that's the way things exist right now. And it's like you go to someone and you need help with something. That's what the heroics are based on, that hopefully you hit the right person who can help you. Otherwise, it's just this quagmire of being referred to other people. If you're transforming your customer experience, but your operational efficiency is pretty much low, that means I'm basically making like my product better, or I'm expanding on features, like what USAA right now is doing. Naturally, I want to be transformed on both sides, and the other aspect of it is my customer experience doesn't change, but I transform my industrialization, which means that my operations are going to get better, that I'm just focusing on that area. And so the common migration is you just make your business better than what it is, because you know the customer, you know how to make money. The next step is beyond that be better, is delight the customer. And so that takes us on the other axis. But then the disconnect is, how do I transform this into a larger business? And so common strategies that companies use, it's like you ask them, well, why do you want a digital change? And the answers I give you are things like, I want to grow 10% each year in revenue. I want my market share to be this percent. I want digital to help me hold off Johnson & Johnson. And naturally with operations, I want to increase output and decrease cost using it. And these are not the things that you go after. Again, transformation is how your entire operation works together. And so it goes beyond that. So your strategy process still applies. It's still about what your objective is, what the landscape is, who's my market and customer, what resources do I actually have, and what leadership and processes need to be developed. And subsequently, there's risk attached to all of that. But one thing we see is that companies that do well at digital tend to do four things. They invest in R&D. They're good at redesigning the leadership team when they need to. They can bring in external perspectives, so they have some diversity in their workforce, and they formalize the change program. And that's that they have rules, so it's not so chaotic, and plus you include all the right people. And as you can see, the companies that have those four success factors do the best. So, who's going to lead? And the people who lead these efforts are called digital masters, and they understand the implication of the entire operation. Now, going in digital it's a tough road. One way of going about getting into digital is you just say, that's it. We're going to do it dictator style. We're just going straight into digital. We're going to force the issue. And we're going to spend $100 million and everybody's going to get trained up. The problem with that is that it can take you up to 5 years before you ever see a return on that money. That is a long way to go. There are better ways of approaching this. You can apply digital to just a few programs to get your feet wet and build up to it. You need bottoms up for faster adoption. By the same time, you still need top down because people need to know this is coming from the top. But trying to modernize without your strategy is expensive. Like, for example, what if you just treat this as a pure technology play? So, what we're doing in digital right now is we're just changing our platform. No, that doesn't work. And this is not about 5-year plans. This is about transforming yourself today. The attitude and look you have to take is think of yourself as an animal. And what you're doing right now with this digital migration is you're migrating to more fertile grounds. So how do I go about executing? And I'll talk about that in the next lecture.